Breakfast, this will be language addition to our zoning ordinance. And we'll open the public hearing at 7:51. And staff.
I have to tell you,
Yes?
the one in your packet has a plural verb that should be a singular verb. So therefore, I've handed you out a new one. It is in
Is it
number.
the stapled one?
Yes.
Is that the new one? Okay.
Yes.
So this is recyclable again?
That is also recyclable. Number 7, there is an R in there and it should be is. And in number 9 of the second conditional use was the same. There was an R, A-R-E instead of is, I is in there.
So we'll use this one. Oh,
Well, it depends on what part of the country you come from.
Yeah.
Well,
it could be y'all.
when your Word document doesn't catch
Okay.
the singular and plural, I'm sorry, I'm not that good
Shame
at
on
it.
you.
She let it.
Okay.
So if anybody
And
needs an
then-
extra copy of that, they are here, but
And then just a quick summary of what this draft revision is
well,
about.
it's the one that finally made it through, Gene.
Yes, but it pertains to the definition of bed and breakfast and
Yes, we have
their
included,
use as a conditional use.
we have included the definition of bed and breakfast, which you guys approved a year
In the
ago.
process, during the
So,
process.
it allows for 2 separate conditional use permits. One is just for a bed and breakfast, the other one is for a bed and breakfast with additional meals.
And good work. I mean, long, good. We'll put it to bed.
How many
hopefully.
revisions?
No, it looks really good. Seeing as how the city is the one that is the applicant, I guess you made your case. Is it because we hadn't really addressed bed and breakfast in the language of our ordinance, so we're just updating?
Yes, pretty much.
Okay. All right. Well, comments from the public on the proposed language to include bed and breakfast definition and include it as a permitted use with conditional use permit.
I just have a question, and that is, there's a proposed 10 guests at this bed and breakfast, which means parking for 10 possible single cars that have to be parked off-street, correct? Then, on the same day, if they have a full house and all the rooms are filled, where would potentially 10 more cars go for the restaurant?
That has to be included in their off-street parking plan.
What does that mean?
There has to be an allowance for
Off-street parking.
off-street parking. If they have 4 rooms for bed and breakfast, that has to be taken in consideration for off-street parking. If there were 6 rooms, that would have to take in consideration, plus up to the 10, the capacity of 10 guests for occasional meals.
So
All
where
that
will-
is within the formula for off-street parking requirements. Staff can give you more details, but it's all laid out in the ordinance as to how many off-street parking they would need
Would be
based on their
required.
capacity. Yeah, that would.
So
be-
where would any off-street parking go? There's only enough room there for their own parking, there's no,
Where are we talking?
Oh, yeah. So,
Whoever applies would have to, as a part of their conditional use, come in with a plan for their off-street parking.
permits.
Is that what you're asking?
oh, this isn't specifically for the Waller House.
Oh,
No,
no,
no.
no, no.
This is just any bed and
This is
breakfast.
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah.
If the Wallers want to do this, they'd have to apply for a conditional use, one or the other, and provide appropriate parking. If they're gonna do both, they have to provide parking for both situations. If they're gonna do, if an individual or a couple's gonna do, or the owner's gonna do just the bed and breakfast based on the number of rooms, then that would apply. If they're gonna do rooms and,
Food.
Meal guests.
dining, then they have to accommodate that.
Okay, I have a question, because this is an existing bed and breakfast with a place that's been serving meals not according to the ordinance for quite some time. Where do their people park now? There is no place for them to park. There's no, I guess I'm not understanding how they can have a bed and breakfast license with no off-street parking available on that particular property.
Well,
Because
we
they
don't
were,
have the details, but they aren't a bed and breakfast, as far as the land use controls are. And we're trying to place language into the ordinance so that we can accommodate those that would like to have bed and breakfasts.
Right, but they're not a licensed bed and breakfast now.
We don't even have a procedure in our book for it like this right now. So,
So
are
we
they
really
operators of bed and
can't
breakfast?
do
I think
that
we
yet.
all know they are, Robin. We expect them to go through this process now.
Yeah. Right now, we're just dealing with language. They're gonna have to look at the language and anybody that would want it and
Okay.
see if they fit.
But I'm just asking for clarification.
Oh, and
How-
that, I don't
Well,
know.
they'll have to come up with a plan.
But-
When
but-
they apply.
There is no off-street parking for any customers right now.
I don't know that. We will ask them and deal with them. We aren't going to assume that.
Yeah.
But they'll have to come up with a plan for parking, off-street parking.
Okay, but
But
how-
first, we need to
How
have
did-
a type of ordinance that will allow bed and breakfasts
Okay,
in this
but
town.
just so, because I don't really understand, if you could explain in clear terms, how can this existing business have been allowed to accept overnight guests or meals by appointment without this off-street parking plan? How is that even
The only
possible?
way that we can address this is that we don't have any facts before us, Robin, and it's not something that we are dealing with tonight to be able to provide good information to anybody. So we really need to move on with the ordinance, and that will have to be some business at
But in
another
order
meeting.
to, don't you have to have some kind of a permit to?
Well, I can't tell you.
they probably have a permit under the old system. We are now adopting a new ordinance for bed and breakfast.
But what old system? You just said there's no bed and breakfast.
Well, there are lodging rooms, I mean, there were, we don't know, we don't have information from it, and whatever we might say may be erroneous. So, Robin, you know, we can't address something that we don't have the facts for right now. You know, be patient and
But
you can bring
this
that up
is
some
the
other time.
organization that would give out a conditional use permit or some type of an allowance to
Well,
operate.
and
this-
some of us are new.
Yeah, in the
We don't
future,
know
that's
the
true.
future.
In the past, we don't know what happened in the past.
Yeah. We
I-
But this
have-
is the body
Yes.
that
Right.
the
That's
That's
laws
why
are
that's why
in
we're doing this, to make the regulations that we need to have a licensed bed and breakfast or a,
Or
Permit.
under today's terminology. You know, we don't know. And we can't guess. Anything we'd say may not be
I don't
factual.
know.
It's
We
like all
can't.
ordinances, once in a while you look at them and they change according to the times. We're not aware of what was in place before any one of us came on this planning commission. This is just something we're dealing with right now to make it more concrete what exactly a bed and breakfast is and what are the requirements to meet the ever-changing world and to the point of where we're at right now. That's what we're doing here.
Okay,
What they operate under other, we don't know. So,
okay, thank you.
yeah.
And Jerry, a question I have is, as far as the county is concerned, do they have something in place where if you were to operate a bed and breakfast within the county, they'd have to come in and apply for a permit? Is there something there? Okay, so basically this has been pretty much in the county's hand up to this point. Okay.
Yes.
For the health, yeah, the health department.
The
Yeah.
health department
Yeah.
and all the requirements that the state of Minnesota looks towards a bed and breakfast, the
Yeah.
county has been supplying that.
Yeah,
But this is a business in town.
That's why we're making this ordinance to address that issue.
Yeah, I
We haven't-
understand too, because that's what you have to do is modify, because you don't have an existing, anything to cover this business. So
Well,
you're inventing a new policy to accommodate a particular business.
No, absolutely not.
actually.
Well, sure
we've been
sounds like
working-
it to me.
It's,
We've been
no,
working on
this applies to any bed and breakfast in the
Right,
future.
the current one does.
But since 2009, we've had this on and off the agenda, so it's not to accommodate anybody, it's just to keep moving forward.
Unfortunately, it's been a slow process.
But
We've
it's-
been working on this for a long time, other things have come into play. It's been pushed to the side. It's been a while.
It'll take that long.
Okay, any other public comment? Okay. All right, so we will close the public hearing at 8:02. And I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept ordinance number 49. And there's no finding of fact, I guess this is the finding of fact, isn't it?
And, well, actually, we already had the findings of fact. This is now the public hearing.
Yep.
You're right.
Okay, so we're
Six
accepting
series.
ordinance number 49.
Okay. Any second?
Second.
Any other discussion?
I think we've discussed this for
All-
a while.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Again, I just want to thank the staff for all the hard work. Excellent. Okay. No old business tonight. New business. Border Foods variance request.
We have a variance request from Border Foods Incorporated to tear down an existing restaurant and build a new one on a non-conforming lot. That is what our special meeting will be for, on 23rd,
Yep.
by 5
That's
o'clock.
not.
What time is that meeting again, I'm sorry?
5.
5? I'd have been an hour and a half late.
September 23rd, yes.
Ditto.
My wife's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Mom.
We'll get you out of here in a
Yeah. Okay, thanks
I'll
for
just bring
the,
the cake with.
well, bring some leftovers. Any other information pertaining to that?
Not really, I'll get in your packets,
Is that the single agenda item then?
that
We
is
know of?
it, as far as I know, and I don't have any time to publish anything more.
As
There's
far as-
a possible another variance coming up, one or two variances coming up, but I don't know, I don't have any information yet,
Okay.
so.
Jerry, were you going to say something?
Well, the comment is the variance for the gentleman for the shed is because his lot was 133 feet instead of 150 feet. He's bigger than an acre in size, he meets all the setbacks. One of the things, once we get a planning and zoning person, and not Douglas, I mean
An
the
expert.
council's gonna have to budget for a planning and zoning person. One of the things we should consider changing is, what difference does the size of the lot mean, or the width of the lot mean, if they meet all the setbacks and the parking requirements? We should consider changing our requirements to allow something like that to comply.
We do for residential.
We do,
Yeah.
exactly.
So maybe we could look at
That's
that
one of the things I
language.
think we should change, it's ridiculous. You got a gentleman who wants to expand his business, same thing with this, coming up on the 23rd. They're gonna meet all the setbacks, they're gonna meet the stormwater, the lot happens to be less than an acre, but it,
By .05.
by .05,
Perfect.
so you're gonna make the company slow down and go through this process for something that really, if they meet all the setbacks and the requirements, they should be granted. We need to change our code in a manner to allow some common sense. And
Well-
both of these would have disappeared.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
my
like a
comment.
residential,
Like
but
Mr.
you don't wanna
Vasquez
have it
said.
chopped up in all different, sizes and shapes. That I can understand. But we do for residential, if they meet
And,
the, yeah.
when we put when Gutwalt did over by Century Home, he put a business in a half of a acre. Still met the setbacks, did the stormwater, met the parking, and we allowed it. It's just if a business owner, property owner wants to come in with a scenario that's less than an acre, we're making them go through these extra hoops. That's a deterrent for a business to come here. So we should consider changing our ordinance at some point in the future to allow these types of requests to happen if they meet all those other requirements. That's just my comment.
Well, and some, if it's just a conditional use rather than a variance, that make it easier too, like the less than half.
It's a
acre.
conditional use and you have, that's different. Here
Yeah.
you've just got a variance because they both happen to be one slightly less than an acre, like 0.0 whatever, and it's 133 feet wide instead of 150 feet wide.
Yeah. Through no fault of their own.
Through no
obviously.
fault of their own.
But what about the one coming up, was that through fault of their own?
No. I went back and checked through the records and they bought it as,
They bought it as is. Oh, okay, well, that changes everything. If they would have sliced it off and made it, then,
Anyway, it's just a comment.
Sounds good.
Some other
Okay.
changes down the road to make it more efficient
Good,
and
yeah.
use some common sense.
Yeah,
Doug can worry about that one, I promise.
common sense. All right, updates. Red Cup Properties LLC have taken measures to keep the fence from blowing in the wind.
yes.
And what measures have they taken?
They installed 2 poles between the ends of their fabric screen. They have put a rope at the bottom of the screen and tied it to the 2 poles at each end.
Is it working?
I don't know. I was over there when they had told me that their 30 days were up anyway. Kenny had talked to me on Friday, or had stopped in on Friday. I was on vacation. He stopped in again on Monday and said, I'm ready for you to take a look at it. We went over there. Jackie was just coming in. The rope had been untied. Don't know how, why, or whatever. She said, well, we just tied this up and anyway, it was untied at the time. She retied it, and I haven't been over there since to take a look at it on a windy day. So we will see if it works.
And you're monitoring everything
Yeah,
also? Or
if I get a
to
chance to
see
get
it?
over.
To see it? Okay. All right.
Madam Chair, may I comment on that?
Yes.
I just would like this letter on file. I'm Brian Culver. May I read the letter? To be placed on file for this issue.
Yes.
August 28, 2013, Brian Paul. Staff viewed the screening at Service Master property on August 27th and met with one of the owners on site. The screening was loose as the rope fastening it on the bottom came off. Notified owner that screening must be kept in place, and we informed them that if the problem continues, they must come up with a better way to fasten the screening. Please let us know if problem persists, and that's from the administrator. I just want this put on file for my mom for this issue.
Okay, if you just want to
Yeah,
present it to
I
the
will.
staff. Well, and it sounds like what you're saying is that they've got to make it work.
And we'll keep an eye on it and form the proper channels if it's not working.
Thanks for the update. Thank you. Okay, next meeting. Well, we have 2, no, we've had 3. We will have had 3.
Yes.
Okay, the special meeting, September 23rd, as Doug and Jerry spoke, 5 o'clock. And birthday cake? Okay, and the next regular meeting then, of course, Monday, October 14th, at the regular time of 6:30. All right, entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Second.
second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 8:11. You know, guys, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. We've had lots on our plate tonight.
What I wanted to say is I want to commend the staff for being progressive and changing things that's been outdated or obsolete. And we're
Trying to keep up with
actually
you.
doing something.
Yeah.
Constructive.
Yeah. And here was the reward, right?
Yeah.
Sorry,
This time, I think I did. Way back.